What is going on, guys? Man, I really suck at intros. welcome back, to another episode of Friday Night Fight Talk. As per usual, I'm your excellent host, Jay, and man, I am absolutely, positively still figuring out this new mic setup, but pumped for UFC 311 on the weekend here. Yeah, I'm definitely probably sounding weird here. So, we got a lot of really good fights this weekend. I can't wait. I'm ecstatic about this card. This could be depending on how this year goes, this could end up being card of the year, considering how shit, like absolute dog shit 312 is looking. Like 312 is looking like it's another 297, like straight up worst card of the year. I would argue worse on paper. Put one of the Taffa brothers on there that doesn't save the card. Sorry if I'm a little distracted. I'm just watching the weigh-ins right now as I'm recording this, but anyways, let's get right into it. Also, so far, no one has missed weight, but Arman has not weighed in yet, and everyone is spamming in the chat that he missed weight. I don't believe it, but also people are spamming that Merab's gay. We'll see that later. So, opening up the card, we got one of Khabib's little gremlins. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. Tagir is alright. I actually think he's a little overrated for flyweight. He's got the two losses, which for Khabib standards, that's absolutely horrid. Like, he's lost to Tim Elliott before. Like, yikes. Aye. And Clayton Carpenter, he's alright. He's good. Would I say rankings material yet? I'm not quite sure. He's got 2 wins over unnamed flyweight number 1 and unnamed flyweight number 2. So, he's undefeated. But who am I picking to win this? I gotta say, probably Tagir Ulanbekov. I'm gonna say he locks up a submission in the third, actually. I know he's not known for really finishing people. And definitely not knocking people out, but he can submit people. Definitely. So I'm going to say he submits him in the third round. So, moving on. We got Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo. Yeah, Bernardo. I don't know why I said Bernardo. Bernardo Sopai. So, Ricky Turcios. Not Ricky Turcios. This fight was scheduled back in November. Don't ask me what card it was. It might have been the MSG card. I'm forgetting. Sopai made his debut in March of last year. Got flatlined by Vinicius Oliveira. Absolutely destroyed. And Ricky Turcios, he had that fight with Raul Rosas Jr. A while back. So, I want to look at the potential here, because Ricky Turcios, he's had a few fights in the UFC. But Bernardo here he's had the one, and he lost. I get it. He's got a really good camp. He trains in Sweden. But am I confident that he's going to win? I'm not 100% sure. So, I'm going to take the underdog pick here. I'm going to say Ricky Turcios wins a decision. I know that sounds weird, but I need to see more from this kid first. I need to see more from this kid if I'm going to be confident in picking him. Okay. Next up, we got Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafarov. So, Rinya is a really good prospect. He's absolutely insane. From the Japanese MMA scene. Did really good on Road to UFC, although granted, I don't love Road to UFC. And he fought on 298, was his last fight. And Muin Gafarov, he fought, what's his face on the... It's a guy that lost recently. It's a Korean guy. I don't know. But he's also lost to Said Nurmagomedov. So this little hairy fuck is a plus 400 underdog. Would I say he's a 400 underdog? No. Would I say he wins? Oh, not exactly. You got to remember who he's facing. He's facing Rinya Nakamura here. Now, do I think that Rinya finishes him? I don't think so. I don't think he finishes him. Like maybe locks up a submission. But even then, I don't think so. I think Renny Nakamura will probably just dominate him to a decision, I'll say. And yeah, he'll just dominate him to a decision. I think it'll be a pretty confident decision. I don't think it'll be close at all. Okay, next up. Women's bantamweight. Hey, it's just the one though, I think. This is the only one women's fight on this card, right? Yeah. So, we got maybe not OnlyFans, probably lesbian versus OnlyFans. So, we got Carol Rosa versus Eileen Perez. Carol Rosa and Eileen Perez. Both these guys do, or girls, I guess, both of them do nothing special in my opinion. Nothing about either of these two is special for me. They don't do anything special. Don't know how many times I'm going to say special. But I really don't think that either of them are all that good. So, I'll just say Eileen Perez, Mrs. OnlyFans, wins a decision. I'll say she wins a decision. Probably a 29-28 close decision. My fucking power box just dropped. God damn. Yeah, the new setup has like just devolved to chords upon chords upon chords, and it's getting fucking annoying. Yeah. Boom, boom. Yeah, we're good. But yeah, I think probably Eileen Perez. Honestly, I could give two shits about this fight. The only thing that's gonna come out of this is I get to watch Eileen Perez twerk if she wins. So, or maybe even if she loses. I don't know. So early prelim headliner, we got Zachary Reese, who was originally supposed to be fighting Cedric Dumas, who's now fighting Azamat Bekaev. Azamat is debuting. He's debuting right now. And his record is alright. I think he's coming from, I could be confused with the other guy that's debuting, but I think he's coming from the LFA. But honestly, from what I've seen from Zachary Reese, he's 8-1. I gotta pick Zachary Reese by a knockout, and I'll say in the second round. I don't know if this guy's ever been knocked out before. But the step up from LFA to UFC is huge. And honestly, debuting, especially on a couple days' notice, it would be a huge upset if he beat Zachary Reese. Okay, next up. This is one I see a lot of people are different on. We got Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. Now, I see some people saying Diego Ferreira are going to beat Grant Dawson, and I won't lie, these are two very skillful, unranked lightweights. I mean, in my opinion, Grant Dawson should be in the rankings. But I do believe that Grant Dawson is just going to win a decision. I don't think it'll be like last time when I somehow predicted that he'd have like one of his 5 TKOs. I'm going to say he wins a decision. And Diego Ferreira, he comes out strong. I'll say this, he probably wins the first round, and it's going to be a close decision for Grant Dawson, but I do believe he will win confidently the next 2 rounds. Maybe the second round's a little closer, like he comes out hot, started the second round, then he realizes that his gas tank's kind of empty, and Grant Dawson just fucking wrestle fucks him or something. But yeah, I think Grant Dawson is going to win a close decision here. Okay, next up, we have former prelim headliner, but Johnny Walker pulled out. We have Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Alicana. Yet again, Billy Alicana is debuting in the UFC. This is his first fight. And this is the craziest shit to me. He is somehow a betting favorite. How the fuck is he a betting? If I'm not wrong, he's from LFA. I could be wrong. But he's taking this opportunity. He's debuting on short notice again. And he's somehow the betting favorite. But you gotta look at Bogdan. Who's Bogdan here? He's got an 100% finish rate, and he's finished people like Ryan Spann. Got finished by Volkan Oezdemir. Like, he's in the rankings. You gotta remember, short notice debuting on this is really dangerous. I think Bogdan's gonna knock him out in the first. I really think Bogdan is actually going to knock him out in the first. It could go to the second. I don't see it. I see Bogdan knocking him out very early on. Yeah, I don't see many ways. Now, granted, I've seen this guy before, Billy Alicana. He's good. Don't get me wrong, he's good. but I need to see him face some other UFC opposition before he fights fucking Bogdan Gustav, who's ranked. Okay, next up. Surprisingly, this is actually a hard fight for me to predict. We got Jailton Almeida and Sergey Spivak. Now, against most heavyweights, especially the lower end of the rankings, I would say Jailton Almeida is an easy pick. He's a very easy pick because he's a heavy grappler. He does not strike. He is like full send on the grappling. And like we saw in his last fight, Alexander Romanov got subbed by Almeida. So Sergey Spivak, though, is also a really good grappler. And he's not really that fat of a heavyweight. Don't get me wrong. He's got a bit of chunk to him. But we got to remember who else has a bit of chunk to him in that division. We got, like, Sergey Pavlovich. He's a bit of a chunkster. Curtis Blades, also a bit of a chunkster. Tom Aspinall, a chunk menace. Okay? Then there's people like Volkov, who are fucking 6'7" and can only make heavyweight. But yeah, this is tough for me to predict. Now, Spivak did sub Tybura. Now, do I think he could sub Almeida? No. Do I think that this could go very similarly to the Curtis Blades fight? I actually am leaning a little towards that. So this is a bold prediction. This might knock me out of the fucking Immortal tournament here, and I'm gonna be pissed. I'm picking Sergey Spivak to TKO him in the second. I really am. I think it's gonna be very similar to the Curtis Blades fight. I think first round, Almeida will get really confident and he'll take control. Right? And then he's going to do the same thing. He's going to shoot a single leg in the first. And then, just like the Curtis Blades fight, bum, 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 bum. Ah, ah. That's my crowd. I don't know. The fucking crowd. That's a crowd going for Sergey Spivak. I genuinely think that's what could happen. Now, granted, in all honesty, he could 100% sub Spivak in the first round, but I actually believe Spivak stands a chance, and I think he'll pull off the win this time. Okay, now, moving on. Featured prelim now, because God forbid Almeida fucking headline the prelims at all, because that motherfucker is boring as all hell. I will never forgive that fucker for the Derek Lewis fight. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, before I get to this, I have a funny story about that. So the first time I ever brought my friends over for UFC, I was like, we gotta watch UFC, was Fight Night Almeida versus Lewis. I shit you not. It was kind of shitty before the actual fight. And oh my god. Like, it was kind of shitty. You had, like, Kyle Barile, and even then, I actually think that was a boring fight. I don't know if that's underrated, like, an underrated opinion or not. When he fought Abbas Magomedov. The Dalby and... what's his face? It was Dalby and... he was the co-main. Bonfim. That was a great fight. I loved that. I think Renat was on that card. He had that draw. Before he robbed Carlos Leal. But I brought everyone over for it. And we were watching it, and when I got to the main event, I was like, I don't think Derek Lewis is going to win this. He doesn't got very good grappling. He's probably going to sub him. We proceeded to watch 25 minutes of Derek Lewis just sleeping on the mat. He's like, he got put to sleep without being knocked out. He's just lying there. He dozed off. He wasn't even there. It was so horrible. I hate it. And that's why I've got a disdain for Almeida. He almost ruined UFC for my friends. Now, thank God, I managed to bring them over for 298. Volkanovski and Topuria. They got a real kick out of a certain fight. After a certain favorite fighter of mine went to a certain sleep. But we won't talk about that because I still have PTSD. But yeah, so yeah, moving on to feature prelim. Fuck Jailton Almeida. We got Peyton Talbot versus Ronnie Barcelo. So I need to talk about this one too. Peyton Talbot, he's looked real good recently. He's an amazing prospect. But a lot of people are underestimating Raoni Barcelos in this one. He's a veteran. He's been around for a long time. People are forgetting who he is. People are forgetting who Raoni, I still don't know how to say his name, Barcelos is. Sure, you know what? He lost to Kyler Phillips. He lost to Umar Nurmagomedov. But the people he's beat, and he's been around forever. Now, don't get me wrong. Could Peyton Talbot get fraud checked here? Yes. I still think Peyton will win. They're underestimating him because a lot of people are saying, like, oh, first round TKO, first round KO. Horseshit. No, that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Peyton Talbot will just win a decision. I think he'll just win a decision. That's it. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I don't think he'll submit him. I think he'll win a decision. Now, will it be confident? I'm not sure. This is going to be his hardest fight yet. A lot of people are forgetting who Barcelos is. But I still think he'll win. Okay. Now, moving on to the main card. Now, I love this main card so much. It's amazing. First off, kicking off the card, we got Kevin Holland versus Reinier de Ridder. This fight is so close for me. It's so hard to predict. It's so unbelievably hard to predict for me. Because on one hand, you have Kevin Holland. He's been around forever. And you never know when he's going to win a fight. You never know when he's going to lose a fight. I thought he was going to beat Roman Dolidze. TKO injury happens. Like, fuck. Yeah, break a rib. Apparently your rib's not broken anymore, even though that was just in October. And then we got Reinier de Ridder, one championship double champ. Now, don't get me wrong. I picked GM3 against him because I didn't see him. But he's a really good grappler. And if you can out-grapple GM3 in his weight class, I am very confident in you. But this is so tough for me to predict. And I'm going to say this, and I don't like to say this. I'm going to pick Reinier de Ridder by around... I don't want to say it. I'm picking him by round 1 submission. Oh, fuck! God, why did I say that? Listen, alright? I know this sounds bad. I know this sounds really bad. I like Kevin Holland a lot. But this is going to go, I think, very similar to the Dolidze fight, in my opinion. Reinier de Ridder, he's very big. He's big for that division. He's 6'4"? Is he 6'4"? I swear to God he's 6'4". Actually, let me pull up the stats here. He's 6'4". Now, granted, Kevin Holland's 6'3". Still. Reinier de Ridder will probably manage to get him down at some point. And I could see him lock up an arm triangle, anything like that. Or we could even see that same fluke injury again. But I don't know where Kevin Holland is going to succeed in this fight. Striking? He already told Reinier to strike. But we know this fight's going to go to the ground. Reinier is a grappler. And I know when we think of Netherlands, we think of Dutch kickboxing. At least I hope a lot of people do. But he's a very, very strong grappler. He's an insane grappler. And as much as Kevin Holland, he's got okay grappling. It's nowhere near the level of Reinier de Ridder. I gotta say he wins by submission. I hate to say it. Good. I can cope now. I got that out. Did Armand weigh in yet? Jesus. I'm gonna check the results. Because right now, I don't think anyone's missed weight either. UFC 311 weigh-in results. Let's see here. So, Armand has not weighed in yet. That's crazy. Armand's one of the last people to weigh in. Diego Ferreira hasn't weighed in. Bekoev hasn't weighed in. Gafarov hasn't weighed in. And that's it. Armand's like one of the last people to weigh in. Wow. He's really struggling. What's his face? I remember, I don't know if anyone watched the weigh-in show for 299. Cheeto took forever to weigh in. He was one of the last people to weigh in. And he's the main event. And that's what's happening right now. Wow. Oof. Anyway, getting off track. Moving on. We got number 9, Beneil Dariush versus number 10, Renato Moicano. I really like this fight. a lot. Beneil Dariush, he's been out for a while. We haven't seen him fight in over a year. And Moicano, he's been incredibly active. Fought in April. Then he fought in September. He dominated Benoit Saint-Denis. And now he's going to fight Dariush. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think Moicano should be ranked way higher? Fuck yeah. He's number 10. He's beat Jalen Turner and Benoit Saint-Denis. Do I think either of them should be in the rankings? No. But skill-wise, looking at it, I think he should be around the number 8 area, number 7. And Beneil Dariush, he's been inactive for a long time. This is a tough fight because I need to see the extent that Dariush has recovered. Coming off double TKOs. Or, no, not TKOs. Fucking KOs. Moicano's been on the rise, and Dariush has been on the downfall. Do I think people are underestimating Dariush? Yes. But do I think Moicano is the guy? Also, yes. I really believe in Moicano. I believed in him for a while. I was one of the only people that when I saw that Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano was announced for UFC 300, I actually picked Moicano. I thought Moicano was going to win that fight. And granted, he got knocked down. That scared the shit out of me. Because they're like, fuck, I didn't get a perfect pick. Which I still didn't. I did really good. Who did I miss? Yeah, I picked Oliveira. That's why. That's what I screwed up on. That was the only one I screwed up on. But I think Moicano's going to beat him. But it's tough to say if he's going to finish him. We don't see Moicano actually knock people out. Last time, granted, he did 10-8 Saint-Denis. And it was then a doctor stoppage. But we don't really see him knock people out. He's only got 2 knockouts in his entire career. He's a heavy grappler. But Beneil's got good grappling. So I will say this. I think he'll win a decision. That's just about it. Nothing special. Just give Moicano his fucking money. Because he's literally gotten his 2 KOs in like his last couple fights, I think. Right? Yeah, I swear to God. But yeah, maybe similar to the Drew Dober fight. Something along those lines. Now, featured bout. I love this fight. This fight is one of my most anticipated fights recently. You'll bet your ass I'm wearing my Yuri Prochazka shirt. We got Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Man, this is such a good fight. Someone's getting finished here. It's so tough to predict as well. It's so close for me. So, Yuri coming off 2 KO loss. Well, not exactly. He did beat Rakic in between. But coming off 2 KO losses to Alex Pereira. Jamal Hill coming off 1 KO loss to Alex Pereira. Really tough to predict this fight. And Yuri's style kind of conflicts with this, but he has said his game plan has kind of changed. He needs to keep his hands up, which I'm glad he recognizes. I'm glad he recognizes that he has to keep his hands up, because odds are he probably does. And we got to remember, Yuri's only lost to Alex Pereira in the UFC. He hasn't lost to anyone else. Jamal's lost to fucking Paul Craig. So, what am I going to say here? I believe that with the switch of styles, Yuri Prochazka will TKO him in the second. I don't think it'll be in the first. I think it'll be in the second. Now, granted, Jamal, believe me, this is another 50-50 one for me. Jamal could definitely KO him, without a doubt in my mind. All it takes is for him to find the sweet spot, and he wins. But also, this is the same man that brought Glover, old man Glover, to a decision. Now, I get Yuri was very close to that decision, but still, I gotta say, and especially Yuri was doing good against Alex in the first fight, I'm going to say Yuri Prochazka TKOs him in the second. This is a very risky pick. Like, I'm making so many risky picks here. I could definitely get kicked out of the Immortal Tournament this week, even though I'm fucking running it. I'm just hoping I beat Ace Shoryuken. But, yeah, I'm really hoping Yuri's going to win. He's one of my favorites, especially shaving the head for that girl with cancer. That's amazing. I got a big thing for people who fundraise shit. Like, I've done that myself. I took a fight on 1 day notice just to raise a little bit of money for cancer. And I really appreciate people that do that. Okay. Now, this is controversial. This is co-main event. We got Merab versus Umar. This is very, very controversial because Umar, He beat Corey Sandhagen. That's it. He didn't beat anyone else. He beat Corey Sandhagen, unranked nobody who dropped him. He did beat Raoni Barcelos. And like Brian Kelleher. And maybe like Nate Maness or something. But Merab, he's been around for a while. He did have a rough start, but people have to remember how much he's improved since then. He has really improved since then. People are forgetting. So, who do I think wins this? So Umar, coming into the UFC, he's beat Corey Sandhagen after a long layoff. I'm picking Merab by decision. I know. Listen, I'm making some risky picks. Because everyone I talk to goes, Umar. I don't think so. I am big on Merab. I'm high on Merab. I really think Merab is the guy at bantamweight. I think if he wins here, he's probably the bantamweight GOAT. I know that's controversial over like Dominic Cruz, Aljamain Sterling, TJ Dillashaw, but I really think he's bantamweight GOAT if he wins this. I really think so. And especially since I think he's gonna win this. I really think he's gonna win this. Now, don't get me wrong. It won't be a finish. He's not a finisher at all. Who do you finish in the UFC? Marlon Moraes? That's about it. I think. Right? Was it Marlon Moraes? Long time ago. Yeah, Marlon Moraes. Also, a little washed Marlon Moraes. But I really think he's going to win this. So, riding 11-fight win streak, Merab is going to win a decision. I know I said it. I know. Now, let me check again because I'm actually not sure if Arman made weight yet. Before we get to the main event. UFC 311 weigh-in results. Did Arman make weight yet? Holy fuck, he still hasn't weighed in. Wow. That's absolutely crazy. He must be struggling. Okay, now, main event, we got Islam, this new goofy little picture, I just realized, because I'm looking at the stats, we got Arman Tsarukyan, both these guys are really good. This is true, like, champion versus number one contender. I'm just going to say this right now, I think Islam wins the decision. Arman had a really close fight with Oliveira. He got locked up in multiple submission attempts. Multiple. And there's not many ways I see him winning this fight. Don't get me wrong. He can, if he pulls off an absolute masterclass and wins a decision, good for him. But I really think Islam is going to win a decision. I think Islam is going to win a decision. He's got good striking. He's got good grappling. He's really got everything. And he is, right now, the pound-for-pound number one. Granted, for me, Alex Pereira is a close second. Ilia Topuria behind them. But he's looking really good right now. I think he's the guy. So I'm going to say Islam Makhachev wins a decision against Arman Tsarukyan. And that's my picks. So let's get into the Q&A for this weekend. So we just got 3-piece again. So, Almeida Spivak, 2 strong ground game heavyweights. Kind of excited for this. I can't remember when 2 grapplers fought in heavyweight. That's very fair. A lot of heavyweights haven't fought. Granted, there's not a lot of heavyweight grapplers to begin with. A lot of them are just rely on their TKO power. Does it end up a striking match? I do not think so. I think it'll be a lot of grappling. But like I said before, I actually still think Sergey Spivak will TKO Almeida. It's a very odd pick. I'm making a very risky pick here. Talbot Barcelos. Is this where we find out if Peyton is just a flash in the pan? Barcelos is a different fighter with decent wrestling. Yes, I very much agree. This is Peyton's hardest fight. I do think he'll gonna win, but this could be a potential fraud check for Peyton Talbot, 100%. Holland de Ridder. Wait, isn't de Ridder from Holland? I hope Holland chins 3-piece with the dad jokes. I hope Holland chins him. De Ridder's last fight was so boring. He's like a pale Bilal. I actually didn't mind his last fight because he almost fucking KO'd Mearshart in the first round. But he was winning that, or Mearshart was winning that fight. It wasn't a bad fight. I'll say I hope Kevin Holland wins. I don't think it's gonna happen. I really hope. Dariush Moicano. I like both guys. I think both people forget how good Beneil is. Probably better everywhere than Moicano. Moicano has confidence and momentum on his side. This like the Almeida Spivak fight. Does it end up a striking match? Now this I could see being more of a striking match. 100%. I could see this being on the feet. It probably will be on the feet for a bit. But eventually Moicano will probably take one to the ground. And I do believe Moicano will win. I think Moicano's better in a lot of ways. And he's really showed me his skill. Let's see. Yuri Hill. Part of me wants Yuri to win because Hill is so cringe, but part of me wants Hill to win so Poatan could drop him. I will say, I think if Hill wins, they're going to give him another title shot. Do I disagree with it? 100%. I think Ankalaev should get it. But I really hope Yuri wins. No matter what, Yuri's always one of my favorites. I think he wins. And then Merab Umar. Does Merab's wrestling and pressure wear Umar down? Yes, I agree. Umar out-wrestled Cejudo, so Umar is not going to be tougher to handle, and I don't mind seeking the daggies with an L. Do you mean Merab out-wrestled Cejudo? I think you mean Merab out-wrestled Cejudo, unless they did some unprecedented practicing, I don't know. Yeah, no, I would not mind Umar with a loss. Islam Arman. To me, this is a 50-50 fight. Arman is the only guy in the division with a shot at beating Islam. Yeah, I agree. I don't know who I was gonna say before. Maybe Max Holloway. I think he will get it done. Risky play from 3-piece. If Islam wins, does he surpass Khabib as the lightweight GOAT? I think so. For me, he's actually kind of already the lightweight GOAT. Now, granted, the 2 Volkanovski defenses, the second one doesn't really count. It's not really a defense. It was short notice against a 45er. Khabib's prior UFC record is padded, and even in the UFC is a bit weak. And then you have Islam winning over a 45er twice, and maybe even a third if you count Hooker, who's primarily a 45er. I agree. No, both of their records are definitely padded, but just by championship quality fights, like I can't say like Conor McGregor is really the lightweight GOAT. There's maybe an argument for Charles Oliveira, but right now I have to say if maybe already. But especially after this, if he beats Arman, he's definitely the lightweight GOAT. Because he's finally fighting an actual up-and-comer. Dustin Poirier, really good fighter. Little on the older side, right? Volk, featherweight. Volk is the second time. Short notice featherweight. And then also, what's his face? Now he's fighting Arman, finally a number 1 contender. So I do believe he'll be the number 1 contender. And that's about it. So we're running the Immortal Tournament again. I'm hoping I stay in, but if it doesn't go my way, I'm all right with it. Thank you guys for listening once again. Yeah, I'm not gonna drag this out for another 2 minutes. You guys get the message. I'll see you guys all next time. Peace, guys. Thank you.